It's kind of always a bit of a come down the day after the end of the NFL regular season because that last day is always so amazing. And it's chaotic, and it's wild, and then all of a sudden, it's all over for a bunch of teams. And then after that, the heads start to roll. See, that part right there never brings me any pleasure. I'm never rooting for anybody to get fired, especially the flip side when we're talking about a couple of guys that I really like getting the axe. I'm not surprised, but it does make it any tougher. So far on Black Monday, two dudes that I really like have already gotten broken off. So it's going to hurt me as much as it hurts them, but I have to get it over with, and I have to say it, because if I don't, you will. Better they hear it from me than they hear it from you. So, if you're getting ready for work right now, then you're probably not Ron Rivera or Arthur Smith.
You're getting ready for work right now, then you're getting
Ron Rivera or Arthur Smith.
You're getting ready for work right now, then you're getting
Ron Rivera or Arthur Smith.
You're probably not Doug Collins right now. You're getting
Arthur Smith or Ron Rivera.
Listen,
Listen, I'm not piling on. I like both these guys.
Probably not Doug Collins.
I like, and Doug Collins too. I like both of these guys, but I can't say that either one is shocking, right? Neither one is a shocking Black Monday firing. Like, I could argue that Arthur Smith, and I still love Arthur Smith, and I still think that he gets another head coaching job, and I think he does better. Let's face it, the guy was not exactly set up for success. However, I could argue that he never had a quarterback. I could argue that he could get one more season because he never really had a quarterback. But I'm not going to die with my man on a 7-10 hill. That's not the hill that I'm going to die on, the 7-10 hill. 3 straight 7-10 seasons, never bought anyone job security in the NFL. Like, I thought maybe he might be able to get another year, but apparently the Falcons did not want to give him even another minute. You want to talk about cold-blooded. The Falcons couldn't wait another second for Black Monday morning because they announced that news that they were moving on from Art Smith at 12:02 a.m. local time in Atlanta. It's almost like they were a minute late. 12:02. Like Arthur Blank was just sitting in the dark in his office waiting for the clock to strike midnight so he could hit send and get it over with. It's like, damn, I'm a minute late. It's 12:02. Getting blown out like they were yesterday definitely did not help my dude's cause. Desmond Ridder definitely did not help Art's cause. And then Jameis. Oh, Jameis. Hey, Ryan in Sacktown. Jameis, my man. Jameis, my man. Jameis going peak Jameis was absolutely the cherry on the top. And I will definitely get into all of that because that is one of the best things ever. Except it needs its own space. Hell, its own space. It needs its own hour. Its own hour. It needs its own show. Its own show. It needs its own doc. Incredible. And for the final whip of the regular season, I do want to focus on the playoff teams rather than the teams sawing off their head coaches. The teams that actually still have everything to play for, like, say, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, damn, Mafia. I've asked you this so many times over the years, and I really mean it right now. How y'all living this morning? How about that roller coaster ride last night? How about that roller coaster ride this season? How about you being left for dead at 6-6? How about you being a 2 seed right now? And how about the entire Josh Allen experience? Last night was the entire Bills season rolled into a single game. Like, you had wild Josh and you had dominant Josh. You had a shaky, terrible half, and then you had a scary, solid half. It seemed like things were ready to jump off the rails for a while, and then all of a sudden a big time special teams play. And now you're sitting in the 2 seed and looking once again like legit Super Bowl contenders. At least I think so, right? You never know with these guys. But what a ride that's been. And what a ride the season has been. And that ride's not over yet. An absolutely massive dub for Sean McDermott, who actually managed to finish a close game. Finally. An absolutely massive dub for the Bills, who now set themselves up for a home game against the Steelers on Sunday. By the same token, an absolutely massive L for the Dolphins. Now they have to go deal with the Chiefs at Frozen Arrowhead in order to save their season from going up in flames. I mean, seriously, the hell happened to Miami in the second half? The offensive juggernaut, led by the offensive genius with the NFL passing yards leader in the second half last night, went punt, 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 pick in the second half. Miami ended up with 2 first downs in the second half. The offense did not just stall out. The offense flat out vanished. It disappeared, which is why Dolphin fan is melting down on Mike McDaniel right now on social media. Seems like that McDaniel honeymoon in South Beach might have just ended. And they were coming for him last night hard on social. But then again, it could be worse. It could be worse for Mike McD. Number one, he has seen worse. He's already hit rock bottom and bounced all the way back and rebuilt himself. So it could be worse for Mike McD. Or I'll tell you how it could be worse. He could be Nick Sirianni.
Where's the camera?
That dude. I mean, was it not 5 minutes ago that guy was coming out of KC talking all that junk? All that junk. You hear that sound, by the way. That beep, 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 beep. It's getting louder and louder. You know what that sound is? Beep, beep. Exactly, Avi, thank you. Beep, beep, beep. You know what that is? That's the sound of the Eagles backing into the playoffs. Or crawling in. Or falling in. Or tumbling backwards down a flight of stairs in. And they're now almost that banged up, right? Like they collectively fell down a flight of stairs yesterday. I mean, essentially, that's what happened to Philadelphia in the Meadowlands. That was another one of those get-right games where they got all wrong. They didn't just get humiliated by the Giants yesterday. They got beat the hell up. A.J. Brown went down. Jalen Hurts put his middle finger on backwards. I don't think that finger's supposed to look like that or bend that way. It all seems oddly poetic, doesn't it? Because it's like this team has been giving itself the finger for weeks now. It couldn't have gone any worse for Philadelphia. And I'm not just talking about yesterday. Basically, the last 6 weeks, this team was 10-1 at one point, which is why it's hard to believe that Coach Rock, Paper, Scissors, hard to believe when he says, you know what? We know what we're made of. We can bounce back. That's what we do. Let me tell you something, dude. You sound as confused right now and as unbelievable as you did when you first showed up and said, less thinking equals talent takeover.
Less thinking equals talent takeover.
That's what you sound like, Nick, right now. You see, Nick, here's the thing. If you knew how to get up, then wouldn't you have gotten up already? This whole thing about we know what to do. We know how to get up. Yeah, but you've been saying that for weeks, Nick. Weeks. If you knew how to get up, wouldn't you have gotten up already? It's not like you guys haven't been down there on the mat napping it out for weeks, right? So if you're such experts at picking yourselves up, why didn't you do it weeks ago? Instead of getting punched in the face in all these alleged get-right games. See, that's the thing. They had all these easy setups right in front of them and still couldn't take advantage. See, I'm not sure I've ever seen a collapse quite like this before. A contending team off a Super Bowl appearance that just had the bottom fall out completely. It's hard to understand, and it's hard to understand why they wouldn't stop the bleeding if they could stop the bleeding, if that's how they're built, if that's what they're made of, if that's what they do. Or maybe, if you want another theory, and this one, by the way, is even worse, but if you want another theory, there's the Dallas Goedert theory. The theory that the team has just been bored waiting for the playoffs to begin. If that works for you, big dude. Good player, bad take. Good player, bad take. Check that. Good player, terrible take. I could point to any number of reasons as to why the Eagles have taken an all-time collective dump in their pants. But being disinterested because they clinched early, and by the way, clinched what early? Not the division, not the home field. I mean, come on with that. Being disinterested and just waiting around for the playoffs to begin so they could throw the switch is not one of those reasons as to why they are where they are right now. I could give you 10 reasons why I think they are where they are right now, but that's not one of them. I mean, what? You're so good and so above it that you're just going to throw a switch. Or you're saving your good stuff because you don't want anybody to see it. Like I'm sure that Matt the Ticonderoga has been keeping all the good blitzes in his back pocket for the postseason. Don't want to show them anybody right now or show it to them right now. Yeah, sure he hasn't. I got news for you, Dallas. If you got to Tampa and you go there and you lose, and from the looks of things, that's a very real possibility. You might be looking at a new head coach as well. No joke. Look at Philadelphia. Look at how they've handled things in the past. Look at who they've run off in the past. Your dude Sirianni has gone from alleged genius to not having a single answer in a matter of weeks. And this is with all sorts of great leadership in that locker room player-wise. Come to find out, maybe it wasn't Coach Rock, Paper, Scissors who was so responsible for them getting to the Super Bowl, but rather the two coordinators that he lost, who, by the way, are looking pretty nice right about now. Nicer than Sirianni. And yes, I would include Jonathan shot out of a cannon Gannon in that statement too. Hell yes, Philadelphia backed into the playoffs. And don't tell me it doesn't matter how you get in, only that you get in. The hell it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. It matters how well you're playing when the postseason begins, and the Eagles have been playing like ass for weeks. And they can't figure it out. And just got hammered by the Giants, who've had nothing to play for weeks. So Philly's got a real problem. And it would not surprise me at all, even as much as Tampa had to struggle to beat Carolina to win the division. It would not surprise me at all if Philly went in there and went one and done. Hell yes, they backed in. Now, nobody can say that about the Lions. Nobody can say the Lions backed in. The problem is they didn't really need that game yesterday. And in order to get that essentially meaningless game yesterday, Detroit risked injury to some of their key starters. And then, of course, one of those key guys went down. Turns out that, quote, controlled fury that Dan Cannibal was talking about backfired on him, because it probably lost him his breakout rookie tight end, Sam Laporta. But I guess it's not as bad as it looked. Not according to Dan, which is good because it looked pretty freaking bad. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell to be the first to know when we do upload a new video.